So let's begin with the question answers from the poem The Laburnum Top, written by Ted Hughes. So we are going to discuss the question answers from the book as well as some extra question answers. Question number 1. Notice about the beginning and the ending of the poem. See, the poem begins on a very melancholic note. Melancholic means depressed. The laburnum is described as standing silent and still. There is no sign of movement. The leaves of the tree have started turning yellow and the seeds have already fallen. It indicates the season of autumn. At the end of the poem, the laburnum is left silent once again. This time, the silence brings in a note of emptiness in the poem. After all the commotion that the goldfinch causes. Commotion here means disturbance, क्योंकि पूरा पेड़ पे जो है एक हलचल हो जाती है, लेकिन अब उसके जाने के बाद it is left silent once again. So when she leaves the tree, the laburnum subsides to empty. Subsides means to become quiet. Write the answer like this also. As the poem begins, the poet had described the laburnum tree on an afternoon of September bathed in yellow light. The laburnum is described as standing silent and still. There is no sign of movement. The leaves of the tree have started turning yellow and the seeds have already fallen. It indicates the season of autumn. At the end of the poem, when the goldfinch left to the unknown, means to the sky, after making its final whistle chirping sounds, the tree remained empty and still. The laburnum is left silent once again. When she leaves the tree, the laburnum subsides to empty. So you can write any of this answer. Both are correct. Question number 2. What is the bird's movement compared, and what is the basis for this comparison? See, the movement of the bird is compared to that of a lizard. A lizard moves in a sleek and smooth manner, reflecting a lot of dexterity in its alertness. Dexterity means readiness. एक ग्रेस के साथ, एक स्किल के साथ वो मूव करती है, reflecting a lot of dexterity in its alertness and quickness of movement. Similarly, the entry of the goldfinch into the thickness of the tree is sleek, alert and abrupt. तो उसी तरह जो goldfinch भी है वो lizard की तरह की बहुत ज़्यादा alert है. It's very sleek and abrupt means sudden. बड़ी ही sudden movement के साथ वो move करती है. Question number 3. Image of the engine evoked by the poet. See, engine refers to the driving force that brings a machine into action. Similarly, the arrival of the goldfinch, a machine starts up. As the entire tree livens up with the chitterings, singing and commotion caused by the birds and its young ones. Commotion means disturbance. The engine is the source of energy to run machine. It is compared to bird as she is too a source of energy for her family. तो जिस तरह से एक इंजन जो है एक मशीन को वर्क करने में हेल्प करता है, वैसे ही जो ये बर्ड है गोल्डफिंच वो अपनी फैमिली के लिए सोर्स ऑफ एनर्जी है. एज विदाउट इंजन अ मशीन कैन नॉट वर्क, इन द सेम वे विदाउट अ बर्ड हर फैमिली कैन नॉट सर्वाइव. क्वेश्चन नंबर 4. What do you like most about the poem? I like the simple yet beautiful description of the relationship between the tree and the bird given in the poem. I like the way the poet has described a very mundane routine of a bird and how it was pouring life into the silent and still laburnum tree. The goldfinch enlivens the tree. Enlivens means brighten ups. It's makes it livens up the tree, and with its presence while the tree serves as a nesting place for the goldfinch family. Question number. What does the phrase her beard face identity mask mean? The phrase her beard face identity mask has referred to the appearance of the goldfinch bird. The bird's body is yellow while its face has stripes. Though the bird can hide its body in the yellow flowers of the laburnum tree, its striped face can only identify its presence on the tree. क्योंकि उसके फेस पे स्ट्राइप्स है, इट इज डिफरेंट फ्रॉम हर बॉडी. उसकी पूरी बॉडी जो है वो लेबर्नम में मर्ज हो रही है, बट हर फेस कुड बी इजीली आइडेंटिफाइड. So these were all the questions from. But now we will do some extra questions also from the examination point of view. Question is, why is the poem named the Laburnum Top? The poem has been named the Laburnum Top because the top of the laburnum tree has been described in detail in the poem. It is on the top of the laburnum that the nest of the goldfinch is located and where all the activity takes place when the goldfinch visits the nest. What is the significance of yellow in the poem? The flowers of the laburnum tree and its leaves, because it's autumn, so they have turned yellow. Both are yellow in color. The flowers also, the leaves also. Apart from this, the goldfinch feathers are also yellow in color. The poem highlights the high security that the mother bird goldfinch ensures for her babies, and the color yellow help in camouflaging the babies. They cannot be distinguished in the yellow background. They merge with the flowers of the laburnum tree. Thus, they escape being detected by any predator. What is the engine of the machine and what is its fuel? The goldfinch has been called the engine of her family. Just as the engine starts up the machine, the goldfinch arrival in the nest has suddenly started the machine. Means that is, the young ones in the nest have started making noise. The fuel of the engine is the food that the goldfinch brings for her chicks. How does the ensure security for the nestlings? According to the popular belief, the barks and the seeds of the laburnum tree are poisonous. So, predators normally do not come near the tree. Apart from this, its a yellow flowers and yellowing leaves in the autumn season, complemented by the yellow colored feathers of the goldfinch, helps in camouflaging the nestlings from the predators. So let's what is the central idea of the laburnum top? The central idea, the poem The Laburnum Top by Ted Hughes describes a mutual relationship between a laburnum tree, which is large, beautiful, but quite alone, and a goldfinch bird, which is quite amusing, beautiful, but without a shelter. The laburnum tree lets the goldfinch bird and its young ones to nestle and in return takes away its dead silence. The poet has used the laburnum tree and goldfinch as a symbol of life and its fluctuations. In this poem, the poet describes how the visit of a goldfinch changes the laburnum tree. The goldfinch transforms the tree and makes it come alive as the chicks of the goldfinch start to rustle and chirp on seeing her. Once the goldfinch leaves the tree, it becomes quiet and still again. The laburnum tree symbolizes the pattern of our life in general, which is usually dull and inanimate. The goldfinch breaks the usual pattern and makes it lively. Without the goldfinch, the laburnum tree is just like another tree. In other words, it is the attitude of a person towards life that makes life meaningful and worth living. Now, what's the theme? Theme poem The Laburnum Top is written by Ted Hughes. It is about repaying relationship between the laburnum tree and the goldfinch bird. See, the tree is yellow, silent and death-like. It becomes alive by the bird and her young ones. The yellow bird has her shelter on the tree where she feeds her young ones, but as soon as the bird flies into the sky, the tree becomes silent and death-like again. In this poem, the poet talks about the mutual relationship of the laburnum tree and goldfinch who built its nest in it. The main theme of the poem is mutual benefit. The tree, which is still in its position, comes to life by the chirping and swift movement of a bird and its chicks. On the other hand, the bird and her young ones get space to live in. तो दोनों ही एक दूसरे पे कहीं ना कहीं dependent है. There is a mutual benefit. The tree becomes lively whenever the goldfinch visits on it, and the young ones are also getting space to live on the laburnum. Thank you so much. If you like the video, kindly like, share and subscribe. Thank you.